Well, we got a lot to talk about today, I think.
Clearly.
I actually do think we have quite a bit to talk about.
Oh, we
Uh,
do, and you're going to be very upset at me.
that's good. I'm excited about it.
I'm excited for you to be upset
What
at
is
me
the
too.
meaning of life? Uh, where do
Which,
we come from?
which came first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah, these are all questions that are going to be answered on today's episode of the Jake and Cory podcast.
And start intro.
Bing, bing.
Uh,
What is up, boyos? This is the Jake and Cory podcast. I'm Jake. That is Cory. What is up, Cory?
what is up, Jake?
Oh, man. Just the roof and the sky
Jesus,
and
really?
the sun.
When did you become a 52-year-old man?
Well, so I was born in I don't know. 19,
I was born by the river.
Can we just do an hour long of you singing? That'd be great.
No.
That'd be great. So everything's opening up, Cory. What up with that?
Yep. Opening up as wide as my butt cheeks. Here's the thing, Jake. I posted on my Facebook page earlier today, or actually last night, the night of the first day of Arizona being back open, and I wrote a verse Cory 3:16. As for me and my house, we will stay inside.
Yeah, that's probably wise.
It's too early. And the funny thing is that 600 new cases reported the morning of the state reopening. And I'm not doing it. I can't. I'm taking it day by day at this point. And
Yeah.
a lot of people have noticed that I've flip-flopped on the thing. When it first started, I was very positive on the outlook. Now it's just weighing on me like a truck hanging onto a roll of toilet paper. It's just it's day by day. It's minute by minute, and I'm starting, my trust and faith in the numbers are starting to wane. But you know what? People have the right to, take the executive order ending and going out and living their life as normal. That's fine.
Now
I
this
also
is
have the right to stay my ass inside and to keep my family inside as well.
Yeah, and this is actually something I wanted to bring up on the show today. Exactly what you just stated. Elon Musk, right? He lives in California, and they're handling things a bit differently than Arizona.
Yes.
They actually extended the stay-at-home order for another 2 months or something like that, I believe.
I thought it was just in mid-June.
The end of June,
Or maybe
right?
just for LA County. I'm not sure about the other counties, but just in LA County.
Yeah, at least LA is staying until the end of June, which would be basically 2 months, right?
Yeah, and 3 months in totality, if you factor that they closed down in March.
Yeah, true. But Elon Musk, right? He's out in LA, and he said, I think he posted on Twitter or something. I should have looked up the direct quote, but basically, essentially what he said was, I'm going to open my factory. I don't care what you say. If you have a problem, come arrest me. What you're doing is fascist and eliminates freedoms. And a lot of people, there was a lot of backlash there. But at the same time, he's not entirely wrong. It's a slippery kind of thing to talk about. But
it's so slippery, Jake, that it has valid arguments on both sides. That's what's making this whole reopening and restarting the economy such a interesting topic. Each side has valid arguments.
Hmm.
And
Well,
they're vilified by the science. The science is, and this is typical of science. Science is literally contradicting itself when you
always,
really
yeah.
deep down into it. So we now have the argument of the science.
Well, and the question is, even if we have the science and it says you shouldn't go outside, if people are dumb enough to go outside, shouldn't that be their choice? And a lot of people say that continues to spread it or whatever. But if you're quarantining anyway, does it really affect you that much? And the question is, well, maybe it'll make it prolonged and make it last longer. But then the other question is, well, maybe it'll spread quicker and have herd immunity. It's a difficult kind of balance, I think, and kind of hard to answer, where you balance the freedom of someone to do something and then the not faulty, but just unclear science that we have. We're just not sure.
All science at some element is unclear, because especially when it's something that's completely new. And the coronavirus is something that is completely new. No one ever expected this. No one ever anticipated what it would do. It's hard to, just, a couple of weeks ago, they added another symptom, of shakes. So it's an ever growing process. You know what I mean? So I think what this really kind of points down to is you have the science arguing against the science. You have freedom arguing against freedom. What we don't have, the missing element, is leadership. We don't have anyone that is going to make the best decision and present it in the best way that is beneficial to everyone. We have no leader that's able to do that. No leader that's able to translate the science and freedom. That's the part of true leadership. With the organizations that I'm a part of, you're faced with an opportunity, you're faced with a challenge, and you have to find the best middle ground that's the most level, and that's the decision that you have to make. We're lacking that right now. That's why so many people are either on side A or side B. There is nothing in the middle to bring it together to make sure that both sides are comfortable with what needs to be done. And then what needs to be done is still unclear because of the argument of science. It's all over the place, man.
Well, and no matter, some people are questioning, leaders. That's a questionable thing. We're all adults. Do we need a leader? And we do, but at the same time, too much authority is a bad thing, right? I don't know. It's
because authority can lead to overuse, if you will. And we've seen that before.
Abuse of power.
So you know what it boils down to, Jake? We're in this alone. We're in this alone. Other countries aren't in this alone. We're in this alone. It's every man for himself at this point. Because that's why people that say when the state opens, or people that say I'm going to defy an executive order, they have the freedom to do that. They also have the freedom to come against any repercussions of them defying an executive order. So if you go out,
then is that really freedom?
Well, it is freedom when you no, it's not freedom. You're right. It wouldn't be classified as a level of freedom, because you're giving up, like any other inmate, any other person that's found guilty. You give up your freedom and your rights when you break the law. So You can't really argue freedom at that point.
But then the founding fathers were also like, it's our job to make it clear to the government if a law is unjust.
True.
And, and I think that's what Elon Musk is thinking.
Well,
I'm not
Elon Musk,
on a level to say he's right or wrong.
Right. Neither am I. He might be thinking that, but he's going at it the wrong way. He could join with the protesters. He could, pull his connections in Washington, D.C. and local governments instead of just outright going against what clearly is a legal binding executive order issued by the state of California. And if he doesn't like the laws that are in the state of California, where his freedoms do come in, is he has the freedom to move his company. He has the freedom to relocate his company to a state or a location where he agrees more with the politics and the laws of that land.
Well, and that's easier said than done, right?
It is easier said than done, but he clearly opened up his plant in California for some reason. And now I guess that reason is out of the window. I'm not disagreeing with Elon Musk. I'm disagreeing with the way he went about doing it. It's hard for someone that's that big. It's unfair for someone that big that has that much influence to just outrightly buck an executive order issued by an elected political figure, whether or not he agrees with it or not. I don't agree with everything that Trump says, but I'm not going to go out there and break Trump laws. I'm not going to go out there and break federal laws.
I think if Trump had some stupid ass federal laws, I'd probably break them. I mean, we've all smoked weed. You know what I mean? Like, it's a hard thing to answer because, a lot of people say, well, then your jobs are forcing you to go back to work. I mean, they're not forcing you to go to work. You're losing your job anyway. So if you don't want to go to work, you don't go to work. It's so tough, man.
It's very so tough. It's very tough. And everything you're saying is valid. And it's the same thing that everyone that's listening to this is saying to themselves as well. And then there's people, I literally scrolled through my Facebook page, Jake, and there's one argument for F this executive order. It's all fear-mongering. And then there's an equal amount of posts saying, I'm not going to cause a spread in this. I don't want to get sick. I'm not going to go outside. So right. It's like both sides. So I say this. When the executive orders of the land, wherever people are lifted, exercise your freedoms as you wish. If you want to go out, go out. If you have the ability to stay home, stay home. If you have the ability to continue working from home, and a lot of employers are really starting to see the financial benefits because, believe it or not, if companies dig down deep, they can find that having their employees telecommute is actually cheaper in the long run. It's less expensive to have employees working from home. And now I know there's a lot of small businesses that will probably never be able to do that, and restaurants will never be able to allow that to happen. But some of the large corporations, especially Arizona, is like the call center mecca of the planet next to India because of our weather. We don't have any power destroying land, electricity or telecommunication destroying weather. That's why so many call centers are here in the state of Arizona. They have the ability to keep those employees at home. That may make a difference in the long run, and it's going to save that company money, and it's going to allow that company to keep employees on the payroll. Mm-hmm. So there are ways to work around it, but everyone has an equal argument, and that's what makes this so absolutely conflicting.
Yeah, well, and there's ways to work around it for jobs like that. But you think of a small business like a let's say a bar.
Nothing they can do.
Yeah, and it's rough. And then you have that freedom question where it's like, well, shouldn't I be allowed to keep it open if I want to keep it open?
If they want to open it under the guidelines of an executive order, then yes. But if they want to keep their bars open in defiance of an executive order, I don't think that's right. I understand your finances are important. I understand that businesses, even now that Arizona has reopened up, there are still businesses that are not going to be able to do it. Harkins Theater, we've talked a lot about the theaters on this show. Harkins Theater, they've gotten a green light to reopen, but they haven't yet. They're still trying to figure out how to do it.
Well, and it's easy for companies like that where they have the overhead to make that decision, right?
Yeah.
It's easy for someone who still has a job to say, just stay at home, or someone who has, like Arnold Schwarzenegger sitting in his fucking hot tub to say, you should stay at home.
Yeah, with his millions of dollars in his bank. Yeah,
Right.
you're
And
right.
well, there's people literally like, well, I can't pay rent and I kind of want to go to work. And then there's other people that are like, well, I mean, I'm willing to take the gamble to just go to the bar right now because I want to go have a drink or whatever.
If it's
And
legal for them to do so, gamble, go for it. Same thing with the line of people that were outside the casinos yesterday. I'm like, come on, people. But that's my opinion. I'm choosing not to go to the casino. If the executive order has been lifted and the casinos want to open up their doors and they can do it and they're doing the best that they can to keep people safe, go for it. Knock yourself out. Ching, ching, bling, bling. Hope you win a lot of money. And you
yeah,
can
well, and if there's,
buy a
let's say
t-shirt.
there's like an overpopulation issue, and then there's an executive order that's like kill your neighbor. Are you gonna do that? You know what I mean? It's
Well,
like,
that's when you have the Constitution that allows us to bear arms in the event that our politicians get a little out of hand.
well, and some people, I'm not saying I stand on this side. I'm just kind of, relaying this argument or whatever. Are thinking that maybe that's what's happening right now, that they're taking it too far.
No,
And
they're adding to, they're not taking away, and there are still precautions on the books that allows the government of the people to rise up. Now you're getting
right.
into my gun bias.
Yeah,
But
I
I
don't
don't think,
know.
dude.
It's
Everybody was thinking when this stay home, stay safe, stay connected order came down in Arizona. I was on a conference call and a group of professionals, people with degrees and everything. And at the end of the conference call, one lady just went on this huge rant about how martial law, pillaging, and people taking over neighborhoods and coming into your home bearing guns and militias and basically explaining that it's going to be the end of organized civilization as we know it. And this bitch went on for 5 minutes spewing this rhetoric, claiming that she knew someone that worked for the National Guard and how the National Guard in Arizona was gearing up for rioting in the streets and pillaging of homes and all this other bullshit. And it got me so damn angry that she was so effing misinformed that she wanted to spew that rhetoric out on a professional level conference call while she was being
yeah,
paid by the organization she was on the conference call with. None of that crap took place. People
yeah, and
hunkered down and sheltered themselves in place, stayed as connected as they possibly could be. I don't think we're ever going to get to the point in our lifetime that we're going to have laws written or executive orders written that are going to produce melee and have catastrophic effects.
right. Yeah, and even if you do have those thoughts, that's probably not the best platform to you know,
No,
yeah.
no.
It's rough though cuz I
How are you handling it? We're the day that we're taping this show, we're now almost 48 hours in. How are you handling the fact that the executive order issued by Governor Ducey has come to an end? How are you personally handling it?
well, I mean, I'm not going to go out to a bar or whatever. That's I'm yeah, I'm not ready for that. Um but at the same time, but if someone wants to do that, who am I to say? I can say, you probably shouldn't do that, but if they want to do that,
Do you
see you on the other side, I guess.
can you tie in can you tie in the religious argument into the lifting of the executive orders argument. Like, you know how religion is like, you're either right or you're wrong. You're either with me or you're against me. Are you
Right.
feeling that people are kind of taking that approach to the executive order lifted, where people are like, look, if you're too scared to go out, you're un-American. Or if you are going out, you're un-American. It's almost like people are forcing their views on others, and if you don't see it their way, you're wrong. Instead of most people just saying, "Hey, if you want to go out, go out. If you don't want to go out, don't go out."
Yeah, and I think that's the most American argument is if you want to go out, go out. If you
Yeah.
don't.
But is it
Um
right for someone that wants to go out to say, "Dude, you're a paranoid schizophrenic motherfucker if you're just staying in your house"? That dude, they're saying that you can go out. This has been a hoax the whole time, and they're kind of browbeating you from not going out. Is that
yeah,
wrong? Is that right or is that wrong?
I think that's wrong, especially at this point cuz we don't know. I will say, if you look at the numbers, the average death age is like 80 years old. And that if you notice something, that's higher than the average death rate. Period. I think the average death rate is like 75, just
Something like that.
period.
Something like that.
So I mean, that's a little weird. That's a little strange and peculiar. But yeah, I mean, we don't know. We don't know if it's going to mutate. We don't know if it's going to get worse. We don't know if you can recatch it and it gets worse the second time you have it. We don't know what the antibodies do.
Well, there has been results. There have been reports that the doctor in New York, I believe it was, did have the coronavirus, recovered from it, and got it again.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, asterisks, I don't believe that was reported from a vetted publication, if you will. It's probably like one of those
Right.
sideline blog posts or sideline, websites. I don't think CNN or anybody or Fox News or MSNBC was reporting that, but there was a report that stated that a doctor got the virus, went down, got it again, went down, recovered, got it again, recovered again.
But he recovered again.
He recovered again. Young, fit doctor was in the
Yeah.
report, but there are millions of questions. But like I said before, we're in this alone. I'm going to continue to shelter in place. I have the ability to do so. It's going to be uncomfortable for my family, and I know, and I'm dealing with that stress every day because I have a 19-year-old that, is seeing all of his friends, as soon as midnight struck, they were partying in the streets. But I'm dealing with that pressure of having to basically tell him no for our own safety.
Right.
And and every day it's different. Every day it's different. And I'm just sitting back. I'm studying the numbers for myself. I've never been on cdc.gov more than I ever have been. And I'm just going to make the best decision that's within the law, that's for my family and for my health. I know my health. I know my son's health. And that's where I am with this entire situation. And I'm going to make the best decisions that I can with the businesses that I'm a part of. And I'm going to offer the best leadership that I can. And if I have never been in more of a situation that I hope that my beliefs and the way that I feel about this, I hope I'm 100% dead wrong. I hope this thing goes away like the swine flu. I hope this thing goes away like the bird flu. I hope it goes away like H1N1. I hope I'm wrong. I have never wanted to be more wrong than in this situation.
Yeah. It's yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know what to think. And it's funny because, I'm not of authority to make any sort of decisions. I'm not going to go out for a while till I see some numbers.
Yeah, that's pretty much
It
where I
is
am.
we're kind of America's kind of this interesting thing where we can kind of do, and as fucked up as this may sound, we can kind of do like like tests. Like Arizona's kind of opening up. Well, California stays shut, and we can kind of compare the numbers and see what the numbers are about. And the real question is, are the numbers of cases important, or are the number of deaths important? You know
Well,
what I mean?
if we were talking about the number of cases, I literally just updated this on my blog earlier
Mm-hmm.
today. On the day that we're recording this, I updated these numbers are of May 16th at 4:36 p.m. 1,347,783 people not dead from the coronavirus.
How many
So
people dead?
87,000.
Which is a lot. It
And
is.
within the last 24 hours, over 1,300 people died within the last, or reported 1,300 people died within the last 24 hours, and that's directly from the CDC U.S. cases. 1,325 new deaths within the last 24 hours
Now
nationwide.
I'm curious. I'm sure you don't have this information, but if you do, that'd be great. Um, do you happen to have flu data
I do not have flu
or
data right in front of
common
me.
cold, or because you can hear these numbers and they're intimidating, but I don't know what the real comparison is compared to like just other viruses that go around commonly.
It could be different, but if you give me a second, I will access influenza numbers.
Sure. Yeah, because I think that's an interesting sort of take on it. And no matter what, even if we had like another flu, that's a big deal. Because we're kind of ready for the flu, but then a flu on top of the flu would be a big deal regardless. Not to compare the coronavirus to the flu, because it's different. It definitely is.
Definitely.
I just don't know. And some people are claiming that coronavirus numbers are inflated. I'm not making that claim. I'm just saying, I you know, I guess I'm just playing devil's advocate on this show today. Obviously, I'm staying home. I'm staying safe. I'm not going out. Um, I think everyone should probably stay home for as long as they can. But I'm kind of a place of privilege where I'm still working. I'm still making money, so it's easy for me to say I'm just staying home. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, it's hard to it's kind of hard to relate on that. Trying to look up the numbers for influenza on CDC's website, and there literally isn't a outright number without me taking more time to dig down. But when you go to cdc.gov/flu, right up at the top, the first bullet point says laboratory confirmed flu activity is low at this time.
Hmm.
And then the second bullet says elevated influenza like illnesses is related to COVID-19.
Right. So I don't know. It sounds to
It's
me like some of the numbers might be inflating because of that.
I'm going to go try to
Like
it
they're just
when I
lumping people together.
and that's
I
another
don't know.
report that kind of came out too. And this may be what do they call it? Um this just may be a conspiracy.
Right.
But
This is all conspiracy, really.
people are saying that people that are like they found a guy in Colorado. Again,
Mhm.
one of those non verified, internet posts. People found a guy in Colorado that had a blood alcohol level of 0.555, three times the legal limit in Colorado, I believe. And his death was reported as COVID-19 related. when in actuality, he died from
Alcohol
alcohol
poisoning.
poisoning.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yes, that leans a little bit more to the conspiracy theorist, but there might be some truth in that because, like I mentioned on previous shows, there is financial aid lined up for COVID-related deaths for organizations that are dealing with these. So, yes, it's falsification of a medical record, but who in this day is going to challenge that? And that's just one. Imagine how many of the 87,000 reported deaths may have, the COVID-19 may have been the kiss of death, but not the initiator of death. You got somebody with a bad liver and then he goes out and he gets the COVID. Is that considered a COVID death or is that a liver death?
Yeah. Well, and it seems like the rest of the world is starting to open up too. I mean, I just saw that Shanghai Disney just reopened, which is interesting. I don't know how they're doing that, but that was kind of the spot where it originated, and they're starting to reopen. Seems like their numbers are down, but you never know.
True.
And we don't know, like, if once we start reopening, because like really we're just reopening maybe this week, last week. We don't know what the numbers are going to be next week, and that's the real question, right? What are the numbers going to be in a week? What are they going to be in 2 weeks? What are they going to be in a month? Are they going to be skyrocketed? Are deaths going to be up? Or is it going to go down? Is the heat affecting it? These are all the things that, I'm not qualified to talk about, but they're interesting things to think about and maybe look into. I don't know. I feel like I'm saying I don't know a lot.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't.
I think even scientists are like, I don't fucking know, man.
I'm looking at this report on cdc.gov that says percentage of visits for influenza-like illness reported by ILNet 2019 to 2020 season. Okay, so in the 19th week of 2020, there were a total reported flu illnesses of 10,447. Total patients in week 19 of 2020, 751,752 patients visited a doctor or hospital with confirmed influenza, according to this report. Now, this is what's interesting. In 2020, during week 12 of the year, we had 1,054,892 influenza patients, flu patients. And week 13, that dropped to only 84,000, or dropped to only 841,000. And it's gotten less and less and less, and then it jumped up again in week 17 of this year.
Interesting.
2019, the last week of 2019, week 52, because every year has 52 weeks, Jake.
Thank you.
Week 52, we ended the year with 1.3 million influenza cases, and that number stayed up until week 12. And I would have to look at a calendar to identify when COVID-19 hit. But those are just influenza patients reported by ILNet to the CDC. That was a lot of numbers.
It's a lot of numbers. I don't even know how to...
1.2% of patients visited reported through the U.S. outpatient influenza-like illness surveillance network, which is what ILNet stands for, Influenza Illness Surveillance Network. The percentage is below the national baseline of 2.4%, which is what's normal for a fluenza year.
So the numbers for flu are way down.
Numbers for flu are tremendously down.
And
So it begs the question, are flu numbers, actual flu numbers, because the symptoms are so close to COVID-19, have the flu numbers bled into COVID-19?
And how are they testing are they counting like COVID cases that aren't actually tested, but it's like, it sounds like you have COVID, stay home. Are those counted as COVID?
No, those aren't allowed to be reported to the CDC according to CDC guidelines, where they have to go through a corporate or private laboratory, and then those laboratories have procedures on how to report those numbers to the CDC. And the laboratories only report those numbers if those tests come back positive. Like Arizona has tested over 100,000 tests have been performed in Arizona, but only, I think the number last time ballparking is like 12,000 of those were confirmed, with 600 and something deaths. So there are a lot of tests that are being administered, but a fraction of them are coming back as positive, but that positive number is what's legally able to be reported to the CDC.
I see.
Are those numbers accurate? No one really knows, because there really ain't no governing body out there that is making sure that that lab reported an accurate count. I mean, and then the lab could also be reporting false positives.
Yeah. And who knows? I don't want to make any speculations, but who knows if the actual,
everybody's speculating.
Who knows if the actual tests are 100% accurate all the time too? Maybe those
and
tests.
Who knows if people that are how does this affect people that don't necessarily have, or actually, how is COVID affecting people that don't have health care insurance right now?
Too.
If you don't have health care insurance, there's a good chance you're not heading to a hospital. You're not heading to a doctor.
So wouldn't that mean that the numbers are actually much higher than we think?
The numbers could be higher because there's a higher percentage of Americans that don't have health care insurance.
Yeah. And who knows if that's a good thing or a bad thing. If the numbers are higher, that means that there's less deaths in comparison to how many cases there are.
If they're staying home, and I mean, if they could be staying home, treating themselves, which is what, people that don't have health care insurance do. They stay at home and self-medicate. And if they're doing that, their numbers will, because I mean, dude, if you don't have health care insurance, you're not going to go get a test that you're going to end up getting a bill for $150 for. And then if you get, put in the hospital and you're on a respirator and you're in there for 55 days, it's almost cheaper for you to die.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That's a fucking reality that just punched us in the balls.
Yeah, I also heard this thing. It's interesting. This doctor was saying, maybe putting people on ventilators is potentially killing them. What did the doctor say? It was like putting a ventilator on someone is basically telling your lungs, give up, we got it from here, and then your lungs just give up and they stop fighting the virus and you just die. So there is a potential that there's an inflation of deaths because we keep putting people on ventilators that probably didn't need to be on ventilators.
Well, there's also an argument that people that have been on ventilators, it has helped them recover. Medicine as a whole is a throw of the ball down an alley, and you're hoping that it hits the right pins. You're hoping for a strikeout, but every once in a while, you're going to get a gutter. You're going to get a gutter ball.
If you look at the numbers, and I don't have them in front of me, but I do know that if you look at the numbers, most people who have been put on ventilators end up dying. And, that could just be because if you're being put on a ventilator, you have a really bad case to begin with.
Yeah, you're already knocking on death's door.
Right. But it could also mean, maybe we're putting people on ventilators too soon. I heard about this guy who said, my doctor saved my life. He said, no ventilator. Any other doctor probably would have put me on a ventilator. He said, no, you need to fight this off yourself. And he ended up making it through.
It's a case-by-case basis, though, Jake.
I mean, obviously,
case-by-case basis.
People are going to be needing to be put on ventilators if they're at that point where they literally cannot breathe. Of course, it's just some food for thought.
What you're speaking to is really true in medicine, because it's like with to kind of parlay it, it's kind of like sleeping pills. If you keep taking sleeping pills over and over and over, your body will eventually say, hey, I don't need to release those chemicals to put you to sleep because you put in a new machine that's doing it, or you put in a new subsidiary type of chemical that's doing the job for me. So I'm going to go clock out, bruh,
right,
and allow this machine to keep doing it. And then when you take that machine away, then your body is like, wait, what the heck? Wait, what? I thought somebody else was doing this job. I'm not doing this anymore. And then now you can't sleep. So, yeah, I understand what you're saying. The story of the body becoming dependent upon a ventilator. Yeah, that definitely has its facts in the science. But it also has facts in the science that ventilation has saved many more lives than it may have taken.
Well, we don't know. We don't know because
we don't.
The numbers would say otherwise. More people have died on ventilators, but we don't know if that's just because the COVID case or because they were put on ventilators in the first place.
Or if the batteries were low in the ventilator.
Yeah, I mean, they could have just needed some Duracells. This video is brought to you by Duracell. It's not really. Well, okay.
Well, I tell you, I've been sexting more since been in
yeah,
quarantine.
So switching gears. We should probably switch gears
Please.
here.
Yes, we will. God damn, that first half was... We're going to get funny now, folks.
Yeah, we're spewing out our ass. We probably sound like idiots. Whatever.
No, we don't, Jake. We are thinking what every other right-thinking American is thinking. Everybody is thinking this way. We just have a platform to say it for other people to listen. All tens of you.
It's not what Trump is thinking. Trump is thinking.
Well, no, because Trump is only thinking.
Russia.
He's thinking on himself. Why don't you go ask China?
Well, China is huge. I've got a lot of friends in China. I hate them.
Why don't you go ask China? Go ask China. Okay, thank you. I'm out of here. Thank you. When he pouted. Did you see him pout off like a big baby at that press conference?
Yes. He is a big baby.
Who knew that the Angry Orange was really a actual living character?
Oh, man. It's bizarre. We couldn't have a worse president than...
Hey, Apple!
For something like this, Hey,
Apple!
If we could have just had, I don't know, we could have had fucking
anyone else,
George Washington
else, and his wooden teeth.
Yeah, this dude who doesn't even know modern medicine at all would have done a better job.
I said this before.
Nixon.
I'll say it again. Oh, Slick Rick. If we could not have had the worst leadership during the worst time in history, we have the worst pandemic to ever rock this blue bulb, and we have the worst leadership that can't even get out of his own damn way. It's ridiculous. And if this dude saunters back in November, it will be by sheer miracle or by 100% provable voter fraud.
Or it's because he's up against Joe Biden.
Old Uncle Sleepy Joe.
God damn.
We have no pool. We have no more pools of smart individuals that are willing to get into this clown car we call the U.S. The U.S. federal politician system.
I think we do. The problem is that the people in the government are the people picking the next people who join the government.
Are you speaking of an undergovernment?
I mean,
A secret government?
I don't even think it's a secret. I think it's just fact that, I mean, the DNC is the one who really gets to decide who we get to choose from.
We are alone. We're alone. This is not the way the framers intended it. We are alone unless you are one of the 275 people that elect the president. We are alone.
Yeah.
Protect your home, protect your family, provide for your family any way that you can, and make the best out of this shit show. Literally where America is right now. Make the best out of this shit show for you and the people you love. Don't look to the federal government for shit. They're not going to do it anymore. It is no longer for the people. It's for the politicians.
So on a brighter note.
Yes, I've been sexting more.
Yeah, tell me about your sexting.
Oh, I've just been trying to get every friend that I know to send me nudes.
Oh, you're not just sexting with people you're like interested in. It's like your friends too. Like,
yeah, I'm just doing it because it's just boring, and you'd be surprised how many of my friends are complying. I end almost every text message with, "All right, bud, see you later, send nudes."
you did send me that black hole picture, which turned out to be your asshole, but I thought it was beautiful when I thought it was a black hole.
Yeah, the colors and things flying in and out of it, it was great.
Yeah, you had a whole starfield in there. It was nuts.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
It was nuts. Those were nuts.
Yeah.
Just a lot of my friends are just sitting around and they're bored and OnlyFans.com has run its course. I've seen every video available on the Pornhub platform and XTube platform and RedTube platform and X Videos platform and X Hamster platform. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what? It's at this point, Jake, it's not even sexually stimulating anymore. It's just pure entertainment.
Yeah, dude. I sat down, put on my reading glasses,
actually read the porn magazine.
I sat in my reading chair and I opened up Pornhub and just sort of started just browsing. Wasn't even horny. Just like, well, let's see what my favorite actors are up to today. My favorite internet influencers.
And when my friends that play into the whole sexy thing sends a picture, it's like, that's what I always thought, and I move on. There's nothing like, oh, yeah, got the picture. Time to treat myself like an amusement park. Nope. And I text them back all the time. Hey, thanks.
You're actually getting nudes.
Yes. Because I have friends that have no inhibitions and they don't give two shits. They're bored. I'm bored. There's nothing that's I'm not taking it as a
the best part
sexual.
Is you probably met most of them at church, huh?
True. And some of them live in other states now, and
you just got to tell them this is for Jesus.
No, I just sent them a text message. Every text message conversation that I have ends with, "All right, talk to you later. Send nudes." That's my new sign off. Everything, send nudes. Maybe I should change my Outlook signature to say Cory Blaze, send nudes.
So, did your kid, who's what, 19, 18?
Yes, gonna be 18, and
they weren't graduating this year, right?
No, he is not graduating. He was a freshman in college.
Well, that's lucky. He got to do his high school thing. He
did.
Bugs and all. I had a Zoom graduation that I attended yesterday.
Zoom.
It was a Zoom graduation. They had 5 kids, 2 of them were graduating kindergarten. One of them was graduating high school. And one of them was graduating college. And we had a little moment for each of them where they all got to walk out. We announced their name. They were all wearing their cap and gown. We all clapped for them. We had a song, a graduation song that was sang. We had a special guest speaker to do a commencement speech. It was actually
Was the song that was saying Pomp and Circumstances?
Well, Pomp and Circumstance was played when they were walking down, in there. The song that was sang, I don't remember. But they did have a commencement speaker, and that was very nice. It was
Jesus Take the Wheel was the song.
Yeah, something like that. Some bullshit.
Okay.
We are young by fun, or whatever the fuck.
Or that one song that's trying to make everybody cry during this thing. When you're broken down and tired, feeling like it's a merry-go-round. If I hear that, ooh, if I hear that song one more time, I'm gonna stab somebody in the neck with a pin. I'm so tired. We get it. It's a sad song. And we rise up. We rise like the waves in our eyes. You're not gonna rise up. The only thing that's gonna be rising in your house is the bread. Get your ass in the kitchen and make some damn bread and stop crying over these damn commercials on TV. Hell, I'm tired of hearing that damn song.
Dude,
I cried once. I'm done.
Commercials are so weird right now. They're like, hey, I know we're all dying, but we got your back.
We're all in this together, except the guy that just went down in that grave. We're not in there with him. We're not in together with him. Come on.
Listen, we're still here to take your money. We know it's hard.
Rise up. Rise like the... Okay, so the graduations that you attended, I'm good with the high school graduation. I'm good with the college graduation. That kindergarten graduation was a waste of fucking time.
Why?
Every kindergarten graduation is ridiculous. You're graduating from, congratulations, here's a piece of paper that you're most likely going to eat.
Well, yeah.
Because here's a graduation slip allowing you to enter into the next 18 years of your life that you're going to have to work for the next important graduation. Only graduations that should matter are high school and college. You cannot graduate from kindergarten where you did nothing but nap, draw with crayons, and eat paste. That is not a graduatory opportunity.
But it's
for
their
kids.
First year of school, and it's like, hey, you did it. This is school.
Oh,
you did it.
Yeah.
No,
it's stupid.
It's not
It's dumb.
And it's more for the parents than the kids, just to look at.
Well, then let the parents shell out the money to do it.
Well, I mean, that's what we just did with the Zoom call, right? I mean,
that wasn't like a school that you were doing. You were a part of. I thought you were talking about you were part of a school Zoom call where they did a Zoom graduation.
Well, it was extended.
Were these family members?
It was extended family. It was cousins. It was also people that are like close family friends that are like...
Oh, but it wasn't organized by a school organization.
No, we set it up.
Okay. Well, that's different, Jake. Now you make me feel like an ass.
Yeah, but I still think like
graduation was useless.
Kindergarten graduations are cute, and it's just, it's a little thing. Also, like 8th grade graduation, you're going into high school. Like, hey, you did it. You made it to high school. Like, I think that's okay.
You're going to get your ass beat for the next 3 years of your life. Yeah. Or if you're a smart kid, for the next 5 years of your life. Congratulations. Here's a piece of paper, and your parents just had to spend $500 on a cap and gown that your big fat ass is not going to be able to fit when you graduate from high school.
It's not $500. It's not. Those things are cheap as shit.
Cap and gowns are expensive as hell.
Not for the...
Or if they're cheap as shit,
kindergarten
they rip.
ones. Not for the kindergarten ones.
Yeah, because they're the size of Matchbox cars.
Yeah, and they're cheap material because they're kindergarten graduations. It's not as...
Do you remember your kindergarten graduation? Do you remember the commencement speaker? No, because you were sleeping through it while your parents celebrated you.
I don't think I had a kindergarten graduation. I don't think
and your school was right for not doing it.
Yeah, I don't think that was really a thing when I was in kindergarten. But I don't really have an issue with it. Whatever.
A kindergarten graduation is just like all the little kids playing on a soccer team, and even though they don't win, they still get a medal. It's stupid. It's useless.
Okay, listen. I've got something to say about this, okay? I'm okay.
Participation medal.
I'm okay with that if the trophy's smaller, first of all.
It's all about size, Jake.
What? But like once you get to like 6th grade, like middle school, okay, yeah, fuck that. No more trophies. Now you're playing for real.
You can't do that, Jake, because you've already set the kids' pre-notion at an early age that they get participation medals even if they suck and lose.
Right, because they participated. Listen,
away,
there's so many kids that don't participate, so they're getting a trophy for doing it, and you don't get a trophy if you don't do it. That's it. But once you hit,
if you're in the 1st grade and you're a fat kid sitting on the bench and you don't play in the volleyball game or the dodgeball game, and then at the end of the game you still get to line up on the field because you just happen to be on the team and you get a smaller trophy than the ones that won, that's setting that kid's up. That's setting that kid's mentality to say, when I get into high school, even though I don't participate, I'm still going to get a trophy as long as it's smaller than the team that won. That's bullshit. If you lose, you lose. Go home and cry and get better.
And you know what? He'll learn that lesson when he gets to 6th grade.
Little fat bastard. It's going to get beat up in the 6th grade, and they're going to take his milk money.
When you're little, it's just getting involved. That's the important part when you're little, is like just get involved, because we all suck right now. We're all learning together, and you did it. You participated. But once you get
you just have to suck a little less than the other little suckers.
But once you get a little older, middle school, high school, that's when it's like, okay, now we're playing for real. Now you need to actually work super hard to win.
It should start from the beginning. There should never be participation.
The weird thing is, I heard, my nephew is in kindergarten, and he plays on a soccer team, and they kick the ball into goals, but they don't keep score. Now that is some bullshit.
That's bullshit.
That is some bullshit.
That's 100% bullshit. How are you supposed to get better if you can't beat your opponent?
And it's not even about beating your opponent. The important thing about winning and losing when you're that small, because it's not important to win or lose when you're that small, because you all suck. You're all gonna.
It should be.
If you win, it's by luck anyway, because you're fucking 5 years old. But the important thing about winning and losing when you're that age is about learning good sportsmanship and how to handle a win properly and how to handle a loss properly.
But they're not losing, Jake, if they're getting participation medals. That's not a loss to them.
Come on, man. You know it is. The trophy doesn't.
It's not. They're getting a trophy and they're going home with their orange slices in their jowls.
When you played in school, the trophy didn't mean shit. It was more about being like, I fucking beat you, loser. Uh-oh. No one gives a shit about that plastic trophy. Come on, get off of it, dude.
Not anymore.
No one ever did.
Anymore.
No one ever did. This shit wasn't a thing when I was a kid either. Listen. No one gave a shit about the trophy. It was always about, I did better than you. That was the thing. That's what was important.
When I was growing up, yes, that was the case. You wanted to fuck the trophy. You wanted to gloat. You wanted to be able to walk around the playground.
Yeah, the trophy is more for the parents anyway.
Chest. Yeah, because the parents are the only ones that are going to put it on the shelf.
Exactly.
But today's students, Jake, every little snot-nosed, booger-eating motherfucker is getting a trophy.
Yeah, and
whether they win or lose,
it's like
that's
a yearbook.
Wrong.
You get a yearbook regardless of you getting good grades or not. You get a yearbook,
and no one signed my yearbook. What? Sorry, I got a little personal.
But that's the thing. The trophy is more of like a memory, and the trophy should say you got 2nd place. You lost, but you did it.
You suck.
Yeah.
You lost, you suck, get better.
Maybe not you suck, but like, hey, this is the losing
no,
trophy.
You lost, you suck, get better, bitch.
Yeah, sure. But you know what I mean? It's more like you put it on the mantle as like, hey, remember when you did this? You did that.
No,
that's
remember
cool.
when you sucked and they gave you a trophy by default?
Man, you're such a boomer. Shit.
So you always go right to the people should have to work for their accolades.
Yeah, and
in this day and age.
They do. Fucking millennials.
No, they don't. They show up and put on the jersey and they get a participation trophy.
You think those kids don't want to win? Of course they do.
No, because they know they're going to get a participation.
No,
actually, they don't even care. They don't care.
They don't care.
The parents care.
Yeah. And
if it was my kid out there today and someone walked up to him and gave him a participation trophy, I would take that participation trophy, leave it on the field, take my kid back in the car and say, you lost, get better, come back next year.
But when you're 5...
I wouldn't accept it.
When you're 5 years old, The accomplishment is just getting through the season and not fucking
and not peeing your pants
and not quitting. You didn't quit through the season. You didn't back down. You continued.
You only had one boom boom in your pants.
You made it through the season. That's why you get the trophy. You did it. You made it through the season. Because that is an option, is to back out and quit. They didn't quit. They got the trophy for not quitting. They didn't back down.
5-year-olds don't know how to quit.
And that's what they're learning, is to not quit. And trust me, 5-year-olds know how to quit.
No, what they're learning today is they're learning if I show up, put the jersey on, and eat my orange wedge, I'm going to get a little plastic dollar store trophy or plastic dollar store medallion that my mother is going to be happy about, and I'm going to celebrate at Peter Piper Pizza.
They don't care.
In their subconscious, they are. In their subconscious, they are
Cory.
learning that if I just show up and make minimum effort, I win.
Cory,
that's what that's saying.
That's lame as fuck, dude. They're kids.
It's not.
They're kids.
They're kids. They're kids. They gotta learn. They gotta learn.
Yeah, and what they're learning is to participate and to actually be part of it and to be part of a team and to work towards something.
Do you think Steph Curry has participation trophies? His parents have participation trophies from when he was 3? No,
because he got better ones.
His dad said if you go out and you play and you lose, you get nothing. So go out and win so you can get something. So you can get that little dollar store trophy.
That's that shithead mentality that that ninja guy had when he's like, if you don't get upset when you lose, then you've lost twice. It's like, no, dude, that's bullshit. The important thing is learning how to lose properly.
Video games.
It's learning how to lose properly. No, even LeBron was like, I lose all the time. Isn't that a quote from Michael Jordan where he's like, I lost and lost and lost again. The important thing is to keep going and to do it again. But
if you lose and you get a trophy or a little plastic medallion at the end of the game, do you really understand that you lost? No.
Yes, by the scoreboard. The scoreboard says you fucking lost, and you feel that.
But you got a trophy.
They don't give a shit.
You got a participation.
I don't think you're hearing me. I don't think you're listening. When your
parents give a shit.
Who gives a fuck about the parents? Fuck the parents. They're doing a bad job anyway, because these parents don't know how to raise kids anyway, man. That's why the sports are important.
They're 12.
Because you go to
parents are 12 years old.
You go to a sporting. You take your kids to sport, and it's like, dude, you did it. You worked with a team. You're learning how to work with a team, and that's important. That's what you're winning. You're winning the teamwork. You're winning.
You take your kids to sport. Is that what you said?
You take your kids to sport.
We are two unathletic motherfuckers. we are two athletic motherfuckers, bro. Can you please title this episode, You Take Your Kid to Sport?
You take your kid to sport.
Oh, man.
Listen, man.
I hear what you're saying, but I disagree.
Yeah, well, you're fucking dumb, all right?
I'm not dumb. Kids got to work for it, whether they care about it or not.
You still get a report card if you get an F, you know?
And you get your ass beat in my house. That's what happened. You bring home an F, the F stands for you finna be fucked up.
Well, and that's up to the parents. If they lose and they want to beat their kid, go ahead. I mean, whatever.
Ain't no executive order in place for me not to beat the hell out my kid.
I think that is against the law, but, you know.
Yeah, for white people, yes. Black families still whooping the hell out their kid. I saw a kid the other day on Instagram hopping up like he had the Holy Ghost every time that belt swung his way. I'm telling you, boy, black parents still getting it in. They still getting it in.
Oh, man.
And you know what? While they whooping their black kids, you know what the kids are singing? And I'll rise up. It's like the way. I hate that damn song. And if you put that song under the ending of this show, I'm going to stab you in the neck.
I won't, just because of copyright claims, but I would if that wasn't a thing.
Oh, yeah. Fucking YouTube.
I know, YouTube.
Oh, wait, we're on YouTube.
Fuck you, YouTube.
They ripped down my entire episode last week.
Oh, God.
Because I played one song. Guess what song I played that is the reason why YouTube ripped it down? The most prevalent song, and we were using it in a context that was timely and needed. Guess what song, Jake?
Pomp and Circumstance.
No. Good Golly Miss Molly by Little Richard, who just died last week. And we were paying homage to Little Richard. We didn't even play the whole damn song. We played 17 seconds of it, and that was the nail in the coffin. That was the YouTube COVID. That's the YouTube COVID. When you play a Little Richard song, YouTube COVID, no ventilator, right to the grave.
You know, when Little Richard died, I saw that news report and I said, Little Richard's alive? I had no idea.
You know what? A part of me said the same thing. I was like, I thought he was gone already. I thought he was 2016.
Yeah.
Because, in 2016 when all them celebrities were dying?
Yeah, well, that's happening again, man. Roy died, man. Roy and
what's his name just today? I remember him from the Roseanne episode. He played the other gay lover.
Oh, yeah, Willard. Blah, 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 blah. I can't think of it.
Willard something. Yeah.
That's his last name.
He sashayed off the planet. But everybody, I'm here to report that I forgot her name is still alive.
Betty White.
Betty White checked in safe on the planet.
Yeah, when we all die, it's gonna be Betty White and Larry King.
Are we eventually gonna run out of grave sites? I mean, how big is this planet? Are we gonna run out of, if everybody right now died, will we run out of grave sites?
I think eventually.
And why didn't
we just start going over them, right?
Just start piling on top of them, like push them down another 6 feet, and so they're at 12 feet, and then you put new bodies at 6 feet. Does it kind of work like the landfill does, where we just keep clearing out space in the planet until we hit magma?
See, I wonder about that with with like funeral plots. What are they called? Cemeteries. Like people who own cemeteries, and they're like, this person was buried in like 1850. No one's been here in like 50 years. What if we just like dug this guy out and had some new space,
Yeah, do they like go into the grass and freshen it up like an apartment complex does when someone moves out to the carpet? They just go in there and clean the grass up a little bit, remove the headstone, put in the headstone marker that says, available for rent, call. And then in another 100 years somebody else comes in and says, hey.
Well, I think more and more people are being like cremated or being like turned into trees or whatever.
Turned into trees.
Isn't that a thing? Like you could be buried with a seed and you turn into a tree or some shit. I don't know.
Something like that.
Know
what song I want performed at those funerals?
What's that?
And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the rays, I'll rise.
When I die, put me in the trash.
Yeah, you know what? Stick me on the corner of Central and McDowell, and let high school kids walk by and poke me with sticks. I don't give two shits.
Just throw me outside of your house and let those cats eat me.
Yeah, I was gonna say something really morbid right now, but
I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it.
No, all parts of you will not be eaten by cats. All right, I said it anyway. Nevertheless, I will stand over you and sing a song in memory of you. Can you guess the number?
The number?
The song.
Oh, like the number. Pomp and Circumstance?
No, I'll sing. And I'll rise up. I'll rise up.
I feel like you're trying to end the show right now.
No, I'm not trying to end the show. I'm just milking the shit out of that joke.
So,
even though the show is a little bit over.
So, AMC, right?
Oh, okay. We're still going.
We're still gonna go, baby. We got stuff to talk about here.
Jesus.
The rumor is Amazon is going to buy AMC. What does this mean for movie theaters? What does this mean for movie chains? There used to be a law in place, right, for movies, and they're quickly trying to get rid of that because of everything going on, and they need to save the movie theaters. But there used to be a law in place that movie studios could not own movie theaters because that's bad for business, right? Then you have what's it called? Exclusivity deals, right? And that's bad for movie
Yes.
theaters. But now Amazon is talking about buying AMC, which means we may see an exclusivity deal with Amazon. And maybe they're feeling threatened by, let's say, Warner Brothers. And they're like, we're just not going to play Warner Brother movies. Or Disney, because Disney has their own streaming platform now. They're like, we're just not going to play Disney movies. So, is this bad? Is this good? This is the question. Now, it could be considered good because they could be potentially saving AMC, which is great because we need a theater chain. But I think those exclusivity deals are bad. Are they going to charge people more to put their movies in theaters while not charging themselves anything to put their movies in theaters?
It is another attempt by Amazon, and I come from a biased place because my relationship with Amazon has been tumultuous since October of 2019. But this is another way of Amazon taking a market and making it with little to no competitors. The only reason why Amazon is because Amazon does something that no one else has attempted to do successfully. They know how to do something. They have a secret way to do something that no other. That's why Walmart can't compete with Amazon. Any of the other box stores can't compete with Amazon. Amazon has no direct competitor. And I think that this is just their way of seeing with AMC. I think that Amazon smells blood in the water that you have brought up on this show, and the shark of Amazon has swam up and they're ready to chomp. They see that they've got a weak duck in the water and they want to consume it because that's what Amazon does. They just want to consume the world. The United States of America in 2030 will no longer stand for the United States of America. It will stand for the United States of Amazon.
Well, the rumor is that Jeff Bezos is going to be the first trillionaire.
I'm not surprised. As so many reports come out of the harsh work environment, here's the question. When does Amazon get too big? Because the tower can only get so tall, Jake, before it collapses. And it's going to get so big and have so much stake in so many things. When it collapses, it's going to take down so many other things.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's
going to come down and it's going to be a catastrophic fail because when you get too big, the bigger they are, the harder they fall, brother.
Yeah, and it's weird because when Disney bought out Fox Studios, they had a lot of legislation and they had to go to court to really make that deal go through because people were looking into it as a potential monopoly. And they're like, well, Disney, if they buy Fox, are they becoming a slow monopoly? They decided that that's not a monopoly because there are still, there's still Universal, there's still Warner Brothers, there's still Sony. But no one's really looking at Amazon as a monopoly because technically they're not, right? I mean, they're
not because they're not consuming other people or other organizations. If Amazon went after Walmart, I think that would be considered a monopoly.
Yeah.
But they can't be considered a monopoly because they have no direct competitor. No one is able to do what Amazon does. And if a company starts to rise up to do what Amazon does, then they employ the Facebook attack. When Facebook has another social media platform that comes out as its rival, Facebook consumes it.
Yep.
And I believe that's what Amazon will do. That's why they can't fit under the laws of a monopoly because they have no direct competitor.
Yeah. But even Facebook has competition, right? I mean, Twitter is competition for Facebook, you know?
Yeah, it's a competition that's, located in another atmosphere, but nevertheless, in generality of social media, it's competition.
Yeah. It's a weird thing where at what point does Jeff Bezos have more money than our actual government?
He already does, and he's just going to be another corporate a corporate big rig. That is, once he has more money than the federal government, what does he start to do? He starts to buy politicians, which I'm sure he's already
doing that, I'm sure, because this man pays almost nothing in taxes. And that can't happen if he doesn't have a foot in government, too. If that man ran for president, run. Get the fuck out, quick.
He also is the one shipping company over FedEx, over USPS, which is part of our federal government, that got the federal government contract to ship PPE.
Yep.
It was Amazon. That's why all of us all the Amazon customers saw shipping delays that went out a week to 2 weeks because Amazon was prioritizing their federal government contract to ship PPE. And they tried to play that up in the media as Amazon man of the people. When in actuality, no, Amazon just raked in millions of dollars from the federal government to utilize their planes, their drivers, their vans, their vehicles, their shipping abilities. And they still even Amazon still subcontracted some of the work to USPS, UPS, and FedEx. They still subcontracted it. But Federal Express shipping company, they didn't get the exclusive federal contract to ship PPEs and distribute PPEs across the country. It was Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
It was all Amazon. They own planes. Amazon is basically a FedEx with an attached Walmart. That's literally what Amazon is.
Yeah.
And they pre-buy everything, and they just wait for you to buy it, and then they can throw it on any of their shipping and any of their planes and get it to you within 2 days.
Yeah,
I was gonna say 24 hours.
2
days.
You're living in the Bizarro universe when Walmart looks like the good guys.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And my ordering during this quarantine has been more things from Walmart. I hate the fact that they still have a small minimum, but I'm willing to pay that than to Amazon at this point.
Well, the weird thing about Amazon is they have third-party sellers that sell through Amazon. And I don't know.
Yeah, that I got hoodwinked on.
I don't know why anyone would be dumb enough to do that when you can just find those third parties on Amazon and then just look up those third parties and just order it straight from the third parties, because that's totally an option.
Well, I wish I would have did that and not have fallen prey to a face mask scam on Amazon that I literally just blogged about on my blog. That I got hoodwinked by a face mask scam on Amazon. I bought it through Amazon. It was Amazon Prime. And what I got was not anything that was described.
What'd you get?
And then when I went back to try the most flimsy little foam, stretchy, you sneeze, you have a good sneeze, the whole mask is going to disintegrate. It was nothing like what was described. And then I can't go back and leave any feedback on the product or leave any feedback for the seller because the profile is gone. The product is gone. When you go and you try to click in your orders on your Amazon account, you get this little pop-up of a picture of a little dog on Amazon's page saying, sorry, we couldn't find that page because you took it down. But you also took my money too, bitch. You ain't refunding my money. I can't request a refund because the product no longer exists.
I mean, you could wait on hold with Amazon support for 5 hours to get to talk to someone.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. Yeah, just hold your breath while I go and do that.
Yeah. I have one more topic for you, Cory. One more. Then we can get the fuck out of here. All right? One more topic. and I'm very curious to see what you think of this. This is very far apart from conspiracies of Amazon and COVID. We're getting into our wheelhouse here. Entertainment. All right? We love entertainment. That's what this show was before all this COVID shit. This is officially turned into the COVID podcast at this point.
I disagree, but continue.
We got a little political before, but Batman. You ever heard of him?
I'm gonna go with the Cape Crusader that can't fly and doesn't kill people.
Yeah. Well, unless you read like The Dark Knight Returns, he kills some people in that, but it's all right. Batman, the new Batman. Have you heard of anything about this new Batman movie?
Nope.
Not
at all.
Do you know who's playing Batman? You haven't heard about this? Oh, this is exciting.
No, Chris Cuomo.
Chris Cuomo, he would be a great Batman, actually. He's got the look. I think he'd actually be a better Harvey Dent, but
He looks good, no sweatpants.
oh,
Yeah, baby.
ooh, baby. So the guy playing Batman is Robert Pattinson. Do you know who that is?
Wait a minute, is that the Harry Potter guy?
He was in Harry Potter. Yeah, he was the Twilight guy, Edward.
He was the vampire or the werewolf.
He was the vampire.
Isn't he some pretty little boy? He's some pretty little thing, isn't he?
He is pretty.
Looks like you.
Thank you for that. But isn't Batman pretty? Come on now.
Bruce, Val Kilmer.
Yeah, Val Kilmer. Bringing it back, dude. Bringing it back old school.
A little bit.
So they were shooting Batman before this all happened, and now they're taking a little break. They should start production in a couple months here. And the big movie story, because there's no fucking movie stories right now because nothing's happening. But the big story right now is Robert Pattinson came out and said, during quarantine, I have no intentions on maintaining my workout regime. And I just don't give a fuck about working out right now. And a lot of people, just hearing that, you're like, okay, whatever. But then you think about it for a second. Batman should have muscles, right? He should. He should be in shape.
Yeah.
I'm not asking the guy to be a fucking musclehead, but he should be in shape.
You're not asking him to be Aquaman.
Yeah, I'm not asking him to be Jason Momoa. I'm not asking him to be fucking Batista. I'm just, maybe some cardio or something, guy. Because, when you think about it for, 10 seconds, you think to yourself, this man is getting paid probably tens of millions of dollars to play Batman. And the only thing right now expected of him, after receiving his tens of millions of dollars, is to maybe hit the treadmill once or twice. Maybe do a push-up.
Can a vampire be a bat?
Don't vampires turn into bats?
Yeah.
Isn't that a thing?
Good point.
That happens?
I think so.
They turn into
I
bats?
just Google image pictures of Robert Pattinson as Batman.
Yeah.
I don't see how this is going to work. He doesn't make a believable Batman.
At the same time.
And besides, he can stop working out because all of the muscles and everything are built into the suit.
Right.
As long as he doesn't have a beer gut, he'll be fine.
But remember when Christian Bale was Batman, and there's that scene of him doing push-ups in his bedroom, and he's shirtless and stuff. He should be.
Or when he was in that cave and he was trying to make that jump, and that old man with one eye, and they were doing that he ha 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 he ha 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 chant.
Yeah.
Yeah. When they were doing that, he was shirtless and he had to come back. But dude, we got move CGI. They can CGI the muscles on him.
Really? You think so? You think that's a good call?
He doesn't have any muscles to begin with.
Exactly. Just put a little.
So what's the
effort
worst
in.
that's gonna happen? He's gonna get his nips are gonna sag for a little bit.
But it's dude, you're getting paid tens of millions. If I got paid tens of millions of dollars, and they're like, can you just fucking do some push-ups? I'd be like, yeah, you gave me tens of millions of dollars. And who was it?
Okay. All right. Hold on a minute here. All right. So I was looking at a picture of Robert Pattinson back when he was a vampire.
Uh-huh.
I just picked up searched a recent picture of Robert Pattinson, and my has he aged very well.
Yeah.
I'm going to pivot now. This motherfucker needs to stay his ass in the gym. Because if you're looking like that at your age now, the older Robert Pattinson looks like a Batman. I was thinking of that little pale, see-through,
Yeah.
pink-faced, flushed look of him as a vampire. But looking at the transformation that he's undertaken to become Batman, yeah, he needs to stay in the gym.
And when they did Star Wars, right? The new ones. They brought back Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Luke Skywalker and Leia. And they both ended up losing about 40 pounds, 30 pounds each, about that. And they said the reason they did it was not because the studio told them. They did it because they owed it to the fans, because that's what the characters would look like, And you're getting paid so much money, dude. Like, just be committed, I don't know. And maybe
if he was gonna have that pale skin in the Batman, I would imagine that there's not gonna be many shirtless shots of him. But he's built his muscles. He's clearly gotten a tan. And he's not that pale little vampire kid anymore. He's a grown-ass dog. You know what I mean? And yeah, I think that not because he's playing Batman should he stay in the gym, but just because he looks a whole lot better than he's shedded that little boy band Twinkie thing he had going on when he was a vampire.
Yeah, and I don't want it to be misconstrued as me saying he should take some steroids or some shit, or work out so much that it's actually bad for his body. Just be healthy about it, obviously, but like,
dude, so many actors have put their bodies through shit for parts. Come on, this dude can do it.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Chris Pratt, right? Remember Chris Pratt? He was...
Yeah, I just scrolled down and there he was.
He was on Parks and Rec, and he was kind of a chubby guy. And then he became Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy, and the dude is fucking jacked now, like...
Right.
And he did it for the role.
I mean, look at me.
And it's
when we...
I imagine it's easy to do if they're like, here's $10 million. I think $10 million would motivate most people to do anything, If someone...
Exactly. Like when we started Jake and Cory podcast, I was just a fat guy. And now, since quarantine, I have transformed for the betterment of the show into an extremely fat guy.
Yeah. But don't you think if someone gave you $10 million to like, and not just $10 million, $10 million and also probably a personal trainer, probably a nutritionist, they probably provided all of this for you. Don't you think that would just make it so much easier, and you'd probably be committed to it if someone gave you $10 million?
He probably already has it.
Yeah.
He probably already has a personal trainer.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought it's obviously petty and stupid, and it doesn't really matter. But I thought it'd be nice to end on some stupid petty shit rather than some COVID shit. Because honestly, I don't give a shit. I think he's gonna be a great Batman regardless.
I'll watch it because he's dreamy.
And a lot of people are like, Robert Pattinson, the fucking Twilight guy. First of all,
yeah, vampire.
He's done a lot of movies since then that were great. But also, a lot of people said the same thing about Heath Ledger when he was cast as the Joker. And they're like, you mean the Brokeback guy? He's going to be the Joker? You mean the fucking 10 Things I Hate About You guy? That's going to be the Joker? And he turned out to be the best Joker of all time. So, I mean, the same could be said for Robert Pattinson.
Very true.
Any hoozle. Woozle. Boozle.
That's another I don't know.
I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, the person that can report to us on social media the number of times Jake says, I don't know in this episode, you will win a Jake I don't know t-shirt.
I may title this episode, I don't know.
Yeah. Just negate what I asked the title to be earlier in the show. But sure, go ahead and do it. I don't know. That's clickable.
I don't know. Some dumb song. That's the name of the title.
Yeah. I'll rise up. I'll rise like the wave. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for downloading and listening to the Jake and Cory podcast. Please make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, subscribe to us on iTunes and other popular podcast platforms. Share the Jake and Cory podcast on all your social media. Invite a friend to listen, sit back, and I hope you enjoy. Hope you've enjoyed the Jake and Cory podcast. I have been Cory Blaze. That is Jake over there. We are out. You got anything? You're gonna say anything?